Hi, my name is Thaddeus Sauls. My presentation is about Google and their efforts to lead the industry in using green energy resources. 34% of Google's operations are powered by green energy. Green energy means that it comes from a new renewable source. 22% of that energy is purchased directly from the provider or produced by Google themselves. 12% of that energy is already on the power grid. Google buys energy from wind farms and other renewable sources, and that money also helps to fund new facilities for these providers and to produce even more renewable energy for others. Google has invested over $1 billion in renewable energy projects. Google has helped to fund over 15 different projects, ranging from solar projects for residential homes to help make it more affordable for homeowners to install solar panels, wind farm projects which can power tens of thousands of homes, and solar arrays that can also power tens of thousands of homes. Google is also a Green Power Leadership Award winner, which is presented by the Environmental Protection Agency. Google has also won the top-ranked Cool Leaderboard in 2012 and 2013, which is presented by Greenpeace. Google's efforts to purchase clean energy are shown in that they have completed over 7 power purchase agreements, which means that they are long-term financial commitments to buy renewable energy from specific facilities. They also purchase green power, which is incorporated into the power grid, the green power primarily comes from wind farms that are tied to the power grid. Google is also working towards purchasing more direct green power from individual suppliers. At this time, they've signed 2 agreements with renewable energy providers that powers them directly and is not routed through the power grid. Google also is working with several utility providers such as Duke Energy to create new services that would provide large-scale consumer access to renewable energy directly from the local utilities. Google is also working to pilot new technology, and that means that they will be testing new technology on their own grounds at their campuses and at their other facilities. These new technologies primarily consist of solar arrays, landfill gas, and solar water heating. Some campuses have large solar arrays that power the entire facility. Other campuses have solar water heating systems, and still other campuses harvest methane from local landfill gases and convert it into heat and electricity. Google has 2 criteria for piloting new technologies on their grounds. The first is that the idea must make good business sense, meaning that there must be a return on the investment in a reasonable period of time. The second criteria is that there must be long-term potential to transform the industry, meaning that by fielding the technology, there will be a better chance of that technology becoming practical for use by other companies. Google's data centers power all products and services from the Google Corporation. The data centers house vast numbers of servers needed to provide their products and services. Their servers are custom designed for energy efficiency. The buildings are designed for efficient airflow, which helps cut down on cooling costs. They keep their thermostats higher than usual at about 80 degrees to cut back on cooling costs. They all encourage their employees at those facilities to wear shorts for a more comfortable work environment. They use free cooling whenever possible. Free cooling uses outside air, water evaporation technology, and thermal reservoirs in place of air conditioning units to cut back on energy use. Google also makes every effort to reuse and recycle the outdated technology. Since 2007, enough servers have been repurposed to avoid buying over 300,000 new machines. The outdated equipment that cannot be reused by Google is zeroed out and resold in the market. Google makes effort to build sustainably, and by that I mean they have several different methods of removing harmful building materials from their buildings, and they also design smart buildings. Google uses a healthy materials program, which means that they use only paints, sealants, adhesives, carpets, and furniture with the lowest levels of volatile organic compounds and formaldehyde possible. They eliminate other toxic materials by excluding all use of substances like lead and mercury. Google requires full transparency from their material vendors. The material vendors must provide comprehensive product ingredient information, and they must also share their product information through an open source evaluation system on the internet so that other customers can see what their product's ingredient lists are. Google also designs smart buildings. Their appliances are all Energy Star certified. They recycle wastewater for toilets and landscaping, and they use the minimum necessary energy for heating and cooling, lighting, and computers, etc. Google has several programs to cut down on emissions that are harmful to the environment. One program is green commuting. Google operates shuttles for employees in the San Francisco Bay Area. These shuttles offer ultra comfortable rides, real-time location information so that you can track their location on your phone or tablet. And they also have Wi-Fi on all of their shuttles. The shuttles operate on one of the cleanest diesel engines ever built, which uses 5% biodiesel. They try to make sure that their shuttles are so convenient that the employees will leave their cars at home, and sometimes the employees don't even own a car. Google also has one of the largest electronic vehicle charging infrastructures in North America. These vehicle charging infrastructures are built to encourage the employees to switch to electric-powered vehicles and get rid of their gasoline or diesel-powered vehicles. Google also has a corporate car sharing program. It is called the G Fleet, and their intent is to offer a clean, sustainable option for employees while they were at work. Google also wants to invest in the electric vehicle market and use the vehicles on their campuses. Google also has a Walker Bike to Work charity program. Employees who participate in the program earn stamps based upon how often they walk or bike to work. Those stamps can then be turned into dollars that are donated to a charity of the employee's choosing, and employees can donate up to $140 per quarter. Google encourages green eating at their facilities. They try to source all of their food responsibly. They partner with local farmers and suppliers whose products reflect responsible raising, farming, and harvesting of food. They educate farmers and consumers on safe and responsible farming techniques. They also support sustainable foods. Google serves seafood that is harvested in a responsible manner. The seafood comes from local wild fisheries and fish farms. The wild-caught seafood is served on the basis of how the fish are caught and what species it is. Any overfished species of fish caught using irresponsible fishing techniques is not purchased. Google also reduces their waste by analyzing their ingredients necessary in a database to determine which ingredients are used more often and how much they need to order. They use real dishes and silverware, which cuts down on the use of disposable products. 20% of their cafe waste is recycled and the rest is compostable. Any unused food is donated to local shelters in the community. Google's map systems make it easier for biking, walking, public transit, and electric vehicles. For biking, there's a layer that you can put on your Google map that shows detailed bike trail and bike lane information. Google's walking features show walking maps with terrain so that you can avoid any large hills and find the best walking routes. Google Public Transit helps you to map your trip, including your route, stops, schedules, and fare. You can also compare the cost of public transit versus driving costs, and you can also track your bus and rail arrival times with live updates. Google's electric vehicle feature adds electric vehicle charging stations to your maps. In recent years, Google has began fitting their cars with methane gas detectors. The reason for this is that gas leaks are a somewhat unknown problem, especially in major cities, and the Google Street View cars spend a great deal of time traveling those roads. So when they are equipped with the methane gas sensors, they can create maps of where all the leaks are located and the severity of the leaks. So far, Google has mapped out 3 cities, Boston, Staten Island, and Indianapolis. The mapping of those cities indicated that there are hundreds of gas leaks. Many of those gas leaks are equivalent to driving from 100 miles a day to 1,000 miles a day in your car. The mapping of these leaks helps to persuade cities to upgrade their gas lines. Indianapolis was the cleanest of the 3 cities with only 1 leak for every 200 miles of roadway due to their newer upgraded gas lines. Cities and utility companies alike can look at the results and see that there are hazards and massive amounts of waste gas being released into the atmosphere. The waste money and dangers associated with the leaks will help convince cities to make the necessary improvements. These are just some of the reasons why Google has been leading the industry in green technology. I believe that in the future more companies are going to move toward the renewable resource technologies because it will be more efficient, more cost effective, and it will be better for the environment. Thank you.